if we look at the economic war, right, through tariffs and trade war and otherwise, but then the other question that we receive a lot is about the potential for that to escalate into a military conflict, in particular around Taiwan. So maybe you can give us your thoughts and expectations around the potential for China to invade Taiwan and attempt to reunificate militarily.
Right. I think we think about this, I guess, on the short and medium to long term, right? In the short run, the probability is really quite low. And a big part of that comes down to military capabilities, right? China simply do not have the technology and capabilities enough yet to attempt a successful takeover and invasion of Taiwan. And it's not just down to the aircraft carriers and having enough of a big enough naval force, right? Taiwan as a geography, is 150 kilometers away from China, right? We think about the Ukraine-Russia war, that's a land-based war, and how difficult it has been for Russia to successfully, take over Ukraine. It's just the difficulty is magnitude more difficult, right? To engage in an ocean-based warfare, and not forgetting the fact that Taiwan geography is very mountainous. There are very few landing locations on the Taiwan island itself, so those are easy to defend. So the difficulty is just very high, right? So in the near term is really very low probability of it happening. But with a 3 to 5 year view, this risk is still real, right? And the way I think we can mitigate this and manage this risk is really to look back at what happened during the Ukraine-Russia war. And back then, weeks leading up to it, Western governments started asking their citizens to leave Ukraine because the Western intelligence organizations would be looking at various matrix satellite images to inform them of the probability of a war actually happening. And they know way more information than any of us do. So anytime we see, let's say Western government starts warning citizens to get out of Taiwan, I think it's definitely a signal that we need to take very serious into account. Right? And then ultimately, if you recall, President Biden, days leading up into the actual invasion, actually explicitly said that Putin is going to invade Ukraine. And you could have get out then because market only fell 15%. Right? You would have avoided the 60% drop when Russia actually invaded. So for us, it's about controlling the exposure. We have to make sure that outsizing to the Taiwan market and China exposure, as we get closer and closer to 3 year, 5 year, and as the probability of a war increase, we have to manage that risk very closely.